Well, predicting the SEC for the upcoming season probably hasn't been more difficult ever. There's no giant kingpin to point to. So you had Georgia, you could count on, Alabama, you could count on, and with all the stuff LSU's been doing, surely you can count on them to be good. Texas A&M keeps spending money. Texas is good, while the SEC might be the toughest conference ever. But it won't get credit for that because it won't have a outstanding team. Hopefully, most of you don't pay any attention to the media that says the SEC is down. It's actually not. The real truth is it never was as good as advertised. It simply had these magical great teams, and that's not the measure of a conference, in my opinion. If you're going to measure a collective, you measure how the collective adds up collectively, not the fact that it may not have a dynamic single one team. But we're conditioned to believe that because the media tells us that. But the SEC is going to be very, very tough next year, and I think it might be one of the more exciting reasons to watch football is to see who can win the SEC. You got LSU, all those coaching changes, all that talent they brought in, Lane Kiffin, all the changes. Sometimes those things take a while to mesh, and it may not be quite as successful first year. Any coaching change could be different. Florida, same problem. Could be outstanding, but it might take a while for the pieces to work together. So I'm really kind of intrigued by how the old guard of the SEC that used to be a big part of the power structure, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, all those programs are just that close to exploding into a good programs. And that puts the Georgia fan in a strange position because we sort of think we automatically are going to go 10-2, 11-1, and if we just beat Bama, we'll win the SEC. I don't think we've taken into the stock just how uncannily fortunate we were to have won the last two SECs. We clearly weren't the best team in the conference the last 2 years, but we didn't win the SEC. And there's been years before that where we clearly were the best team in the conference and didn't win the SEC. So winning the SEC is great, but I think this coming season we're going to see it's up in the air. But I really think that there's one team that no one's really talking about that probably should be the favorite, and that's Texas A&M. We'll explore a little bit about their team in a little bit later. But they have the facilities, they have the money. They came very close last year. They had a really good team. Didn't quite break their way. So as all the other schools are trying to reignite their programs, and teams like Georgia, Alabama, and Texas are kind of in a not really sure what they're going to do, kind of a maintain mode, and just thinking it's going to break in their favor, I think they're going to fall into the middle of the SEC. Alabama, Georgia, Texas. I think they're going to be in the middle. I don't think they're going to, and it might not even be playoff team. Playing 9 games instead of 8 is going to make some difference, perhaps. So it really could be a very exciting SEC race. As for the playoffs, Georgia could make a playoff, but I don't really think they will. I don't think Alabama will. I don't think Texas will. And can Florida, Auburn, or Tennessee have that magical season? One of those teams. If things can break their way, the way they broke for us, you never know. It could be a very, very different kind of year in the SEC. So Texas A&M is banking on Marcel Reed to lead the offense and a stout defense to keep everything in line. And with that top to bottom roster, everything looks like it's going to be working as good as it did last year. The defense looks good. Let's take a look at that Texas A&M team and see if we can figure out what makes it tick. So under head coach Mike Elko, the 2026 Texas A&M football team enters the season with high optimism. They're projected in a range of 9.5 wins, features an explosive offense led by Marcel Reed and a deep running back stable. They're aiming to improve on previous seasons. The defense is expected to be solid. You know, when it comes to the offense, it's going to depend on how well the new receivers actually turn out. Receiving core, they added speed through quickness, and they aim to address previous lack of big plays. So being an explosive offense seems to be what their hope is. So entering 2026, Mike Elko's third-year Texas A&M team aims to build on a 2025 playoff appearance. Returning key leaders include quarterback Marcel Reed and wide receiver Mario Craver. Despite significant roster turnover, they lost 20 altogether, including NFL departures. The team focuses on rebuilding the offensive line with transfers. Quarterback Marcel Reed returns to lead this offense after a breakout 2025 season, 3,169 yards passing and 25 touchdowns. Wide receiver Mario Craver expected to be a focal point, aiming to improve on his 2025 performance following a strong showing in the college football playoff. Returning the key returns, along with Reed and Craver, the defense maintains veteran presence with cornerback Bez Ricks and defensive lineman DJ Hicks. Now, the team faces a challenge of replacing some significant NFL talent. 13 were invited to the 2026 Combine and integrating 4 new transfer offensive linemen. Coaching Mike Elko continues to shape the program with the team looking to maintain momentum after an 11-1 campaign in 2025. Looking at their schedule, the Aggies face Texas State, Ohio State, and UTSA in non-conference. And in SEC play, they have high-profile matchups against Oklahoma, that's played in Dallas, and Florida, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU. So the key for Texas A&M will be, can they make their offense more explosive, and can the defense continue to be a dominant force? Something a lot of teams are looking at. But Marcel Reed is going to have to continue his development. He did show some promise, but he also showed some flaws. They have a whole offseason to get that fixed. A lot of teams are hoping that quarterbacks get better, and Texas A&M is hoping that Marcel Reed may have that breakout season, and he certainly has the potential. So if all the things that Texas A&M is looking to do goes well, they certainly should be a favorite to win the SEC. But most people would point to that schedule. It's going to take a monumental effort to beat the better teams in the SEC, and Texas A&M certainly does play the tougher schedule.